This is Jonathan Ferguson, Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett, and today we are returning to the Mojave and checking out some of the weapons of the all-time great Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, it's a funky looking BAR. With a very BAR rate of fire, but it looks a lot slimmer and has some random grooves on it. That's where the whole timeline divergence thing doesn't really make sense. Oh dear, except at the front of the magazine, you may as well literally just have a single point of aim, because the sight radius of those two sights is hilariously short.
So, towards the mid to late game, the Marksman Carbine does sort of fall out of any niche.
Fall out?
Very good. This month is EXP's first birthday, and to celebrate, we are running a sale over on our Patreon. You can get 50% off monthly memberships or 3 months free if you sign up for a year. By becoming a patron, you can watch the extended edition of this episode, plus next week's episode on Season 2 of the Fallout TV show, right now. You can also get 10% off all merch orders, including our limited edition birthday t-shirt at expvideo.info by using the code BIRTHDAY10 at checkout. Thank you all so much for all of your support over the last year. It has been truly amazing to bring you this content and this channel over the last 12 months. But without further ado, I'll throw it over to Jonathan. Just for your information, these animations of checking the magazine and sort of previewing the weapon, they come from a mod. They're not native to the game, so some of them might look a bit weird, but they offer a good look at the weapon, so I figured I'd include them.
This is a surprising thing to see, or it shouldn't be at this point, but this is not original to the game, is it? Clearly.
The weapon?
No. I mean, yes.
This has always been in New Vegas.
Has it?
Yeah.
What, a bloody standard AR with a club-shaped buttstock and a weird top rail?
Yeah. This has always been in Fallout New Vegas.
I feel like I'm being gaslighted here. I do not remember this at all. This seems so vanilla and 21st century for a Fallout game, even with the ACOG.
Yeah, even with the ACOG.
My mind is blown. Admittedly, I haven't played New Vegas in about 15 years. That rail system does ring a bell, actually. But I don't think I'm going to be able to remember what it's based upon. It's not your standard Knights RAS type quad rail. It's... I can't remember the name. The comments are going to put me right, I'm sure. But it's, as you can see, it clamps an additional Picatinny rail onto your Picatinny rail. Which then goes over the top of the handguard, which has rails on it as well. But it's a very deep one with quite tall sort of cooling vents in it, and it semi-envelops the front sight block. So I doubt it's exactly based on a real one, but it definitely is ringing a bell for a real AR rail system that I can't remember the name of. Do you know, this gun is starting to ring very vague, cobweb-covered bells at the back of my mind now, on the basis of the muzzle device, which is quite strange looking, because it has no slots or ports or anything in it. Almost looks like a standard birdcage, but with a muzzle protector slid over it. Or like an XM177 muzzle moderator with the front part cut off. Doesn't really look right. But I now sort of do remember the Marksman Carbine being some sort of carbine AR, but I don't remember it looking just bog standard modern, like pseudo Model 933, I guess. But the buttstock that's going to annoy me as well. I can't remember what type of buttstock that is, but that's more of a sort of designated marksman type club-shaped stock with a cheek riser. Doesn't really make sense on the gun.
Is that stock the AR-15 Magpul PRS stock?
It's very close to the PRS, yeah.
Matters little for Fallout New Vegas, but adds to the Marksman Carbine vibe.
I mean, We haven't addressed that, have we? Marksman Carbine is obviously a contradiction in terms. Carbine has meant different things in at different times and different places, but broadly speaking, you could be a marksman with a carbine, of course you can, but a Marksman Carbine as a sort of role-based name is a bit weird. But hey, it's a weird alternate future where rules don't necessarily apply. It has a DMR stock, it has a 4-power optic-ish. If Furiosa can use an SKS as a sniper rifle, then I guess this NCR Ranger can use his Marksman Carbine. I'm wondering how it is I forgot about this, and I think it's because I would have avoided using it in my playthrough. I've only played through New Vegas once, very memorable playthrough, but only the once. And I would have taken one look at this and gone, this doesn't fit the game, I'm not going to use it.
I think at a certain point you've probably got a close range weapon, or you've got a close range weapon and something big like the anti-material rifle or the Gobi sniper rifle for your longer range engagements. So towards the mid to late game, the Marksman Carbine does sort of fall out of any niche.
Fall out?
Very good.
Ah, right. Another weapon I don't remember from Fallout New Vegas.
So this is, Benny, the guy that shoots you in the head in the opening scene?
Yes.
This is his gun. This is his Browning high power.
Where'd you get that?
Let's just say Benny got what was coming to him.
I do remember killing him. I don't remember taking his gun, though. But again, I'm reaching far back here. Well, as it happens, I didn't kill anyone to get this, but we do have this, which is the Browning high power Renaissance with the engraving and not really very attractive as far as I'm concerned gold plating. And it is a very close match, pleasingly. So the classical sort of Belgian style foliate engraving. Point of comparison, look at this shape here, and then look at the equivalent on the left side of the slide at the rear, in front of the hammer, behind the slide serrations. It has been copied from an actual Renaissance high power. The difference is a sort of story-based difference, which is that these quite finely, well, very finely checkered walnut grips, they're the nicest thing on the gun actually, are not on this version. We have instead, I guess it's the Virgin Mary, is it?
Yes, because this gun is called Maria. It's one of the religious guns of the game, or a gun with the religious ties.
It's very cartel, isn't it? You will no doubt find this almost exact gun in the hands of a Sicario somewhere. Oh, and I've just realised it. And is this standard on the Renaissance? I don't remember, but this has target sights on it. So it's got a ramped front sight and an adjustable rear, and the gun in the game has just standard sights. High power experts, sound off in the comments on that one.
What does the smooth plate on the left side of the weapon say on the real version?
Ah, well, yes, that'll be another point of departure. Just before we get to that, also, ours at least is the spur hammer. This one is the ring hammer, but that's just a feature that changed over time. The sort of panel that's left unengraved on the side is basically respecting markings that are already there on the standard model, which is Fabrique Nationale Style Belgique, Browning's Patent Déposé, is what it says.
In game, it simply says crafted by M&A Guns Manufacturers.
You can also see, I think, or I can anyway, with the naked eye, that it is slightly worn where they've polished the thing before applying the gold plate. At least that's how it looks. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Browning high power, but not necessarily a fan of this one. But it's important for us to have this in the collection for obvious reasons. That's a really good effort for the graphics of the time. Looks like they've played a little more fast and loose with the engraving on the back of the slide, which is there, but is slightly different to what I'm seeing there. Now there's that weird Fallout quirk where we hit reload and the slide jumps back and locks itself open. Not the only game that does that. Vintage animations, what can I say? I did just glimpse there the slow-mo camera of the bullet coming out. It was a very pointy looking bullet. On the plus side, the hammer is falling as it should.
We're running a birthday sale over on our Patreon. 50% off all monthly memberships and 3 months free if you sign up for an annual subscription. This means you can get access to over an entire year's worth of extended Director's Cut episodes and exclusive Patreon content for half price up until the end of February. We're also running a sale on our merch, 10% off all orders on expvideo.info, including our limited edition birthday t-shirt. Every new patron and every piece of merch sold goes a huge way towards supporting the work we do here and for making EXP happen. So thank you to everyone who checks out the links in the description below, but for now, I'll get back to the video.
I mean, the grease gun's never been a looker, has it? But this is significantly worse than normal.
One of the rustier ones I think I've seen.
Super rusty, and a very short barrel as well. Looks like the barrel has been cut down. I also don't recommend firing a grease gun like a pistol. You could do. It's slow enough and heavy enough at the front that I think you could do it. Drum mag. Vaguely Suomi-esque drum mag. Interesting. Never seen a grease gun with a drum. Sure someone's done it somewhere. I do remember the fountain cascade of cartridge cases.
Yeah, especially when you're using VATs.
Yeah. Bigger issue than that is, because generally speaking, cases are ejected with enough force that you're not going to see them all in such a tight space. Bigger issue is just the rate of fire on this thing. They're treating it like some sort of machine pistol with a short barrel and a much, well, not much, but a significantly higher rate of fire than it ought to have. And also this generation of Fallout games with the straight back recoil thing. I remember that probably from previous reviews and from playing the game. But you don't really notice it, obviously, when you're not looking at third person. You don't really see it, so you'd have to be looking at an enemy. What's
interesting about this era of guns like World War II weaponry is the timeline between our world and Fallout's future diverges around the end of World War II or shortly after World War II. So a lot of World War II era firearms are basically as is to real history, and then anything after that, so you got like the Chinese assault rifle AK, AR-15s, then you start to see more of the different designs from Fallout coming into play.
That's why I don't like that Marksman Carbine, because it doesn't fit that diverge. Now, thank you for reminding me of when it is supposed to diverge. That doesn't really make sense to me. It's not, of course, it's not impossible. They would invent some of the same designs that we have, but it doesn't jibe very well for me. Grease guns, yeah. I mean, I guess the slight problem there is, well, it doesn't matter. If they carried on making those World War II designs, then they're going to be newer when the world ends, and therefore more of them around in decent condition. If they're all from the 1940s, yeah, these things are over 250 years old. Oh, I certainly don't recall this gold modified version.
So this is a nail gun.
Oh, okay.
But I included it with the grease gun because I don't know if you agree, but I think they've taken the grease gun as like the core source of inspiration. There's a lot of similarities between this and the grease gun.
Definitely. The nails coming out of the gun are too long to fit in that magazine. Yeah, they're the same sort of form factor, higher rate of fire, oddly, but I would think that was their starting point. Yeah, it certainly resembles a grease gun a lot more than it resembles a nail gun.
And it was name dropped in the first episode of season 2 of Fallout, so I thought it'd be a good one to.
They are name dropping a ton of stuff from the games, aren't they? I missed that one. Oh, I didn't remember the weapon.
Because its rate of fire is so insane, it's hilariously overpowered.
Yeah. Which is funny, because if you're going to have a nail gun in a game, I do think it should be what it would be in real life, which is a desperation choice. It shouldn't be amazing. If it's a sci-fi game, you know, Quake 1 style, although I think the idea there was that they weaponized the idea of a spike projectile. It's not that they were somehow industrial nail guns, but regardless. Oh, it's a funky looking BAR with a very BAR rate of fire, but it looks a lot slimmer and has some random grooves on it. That's where the whole timeline divergence thing doesn't really make sense, because why would this look different? Oh, unless it's a post-divergence iteration on the BAR design, which there were. Yeah, in reality, we had lots of iterations on the BAR.
One of the developers of Fallout New Vegas actually said in an interview that this is based on the M1918 but with modifications.
Yeah, it's not too far removed. Like, it's like the barrel assembly stayed the right scale and the receiver has shrunk slightly. They certainly gave themselves some freedom, like even the grease gun being somewhat different. This is, in a way, more... Whereas you could make a real grease gun look like a Fallout grease gun by cutting the barrel down. Don't do that, please. This would be harder to approximate. It's a different magazine.
My thought's always been as well that this is probably a BAR that has been kept alive with replacement parts from like the gun runners over years. So they've not had factory BAR parts, maybe had to fabricate their own to supplement some bits breaking.
Maybe, but the receiver is just a different... Should I get one? Would that help?
Why not? It's been a while since I've seen a bar.
So the one I've picked up is missing its bipod, but it's more of the receiver that I'm trying to get across here. It's not as far off as it looks. I think even the magazine is not too far off. I think the bit that sticks out for me is that left side where the charging handle should be. Instead, we have some sort of random cuts in the receiver.
Well, an interesting note about the magazine, it's a bit smaller in game than the real life model.
Yeah.
Because they've actually shortened it because the Fallout New Vegas version fires 308 rather than 30-06.
Okay.
Because 30-06 isn't in the game. So I think they've made the magazine smaller to accommodate that gameplay change. Because there is some interesting... It's one of those details that they're like, yeah, they're paying attention to something and they've shortened the magazine accordingly for a smaller round.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I picked up on the magazine being different, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The more I look at it, the more I think I'm being a little unfair, because I think the receiver is slightly scaled down, but I couldn't swear to that now, looking at... This is why it's so great to have this collection. Where I'm thinking that's like random features on the receiver, actually I think that's just... They've approximated these features on the side, including... Like, there's a fair bit of detail, but they haven't... The only thing that's missing is the cocking handle actually not being there on that feature, on that... What now looks like a sort of lightning cut or something, is where the cocking handle goes on the real gun, but it's just not there.
One of the reasons, from what I've read, they switched the charging handle to the right side of the weapon just so they could reuse a animation for one of the sniper rifles.
Oh, sorry, it's there, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not remembering the animation I saw. Yep. So that's what's happened.
Because this is a DLC weapon as well, it was probably less resource intensive to just reuse that animation for a DLC weapon.
Yeah, they've done a fairly faithful job of representing the BAR, and then they've literally just taken the charging handle and flipped it round, but left that bit there. Normally what you do is mirror the actual textures so that all the stuff that used to be on the left is now on the right. They put more effort in, but ended up making it less accurate, if you see what I mean. Yeah. I guess the problem with if they were going to just mirror the receiver, the problem there is your ejection port and your bolt end up on the wrong side. So they didn't want to flip it to a left side ejection, and that's what they did. Now, where you might have issue, but it depends how many Wheaties you've been eating, I guess, or what would be the British equivalent? Shredded wheat. But yeah, he's kind of flipping this thing around like it's a modern lightweight rifle. This is a hefty bit of kit. Much better without the bipod.
The in-game version has a strength requirement of 8 out of 10. So,
oh, well, there you go.
Even the game knows that it's a heavy thing.
Lever actions always feel right for Fallouts, don't they?
Especially New Vegas.
I think that's why Walton Goggins' character has which I think his is a Marlin, isn't it?
He's got the lever action and the strange short-barreled revolver, which I'm sure we'll get into more when we cover the TV show.
Yeah, so I actually don't... It is a Marlin model. I'm not sure which. I don't think it's a 95. It's more vintage.
Well, the designer said it's not based on one gun specifically, but guns like the Winchester 1886 and the Marlin. So I think it's just taken an amalgamation.
I'd say the design of the receiver and the pivot point for the lever and alone would make this more of a Marlin than a Winchester, but that's just me. And actually, the arrangement of the bolt. We do have some clipping on the reload.
I remember my first playthrough of New Vegas. This thing was with me right to the end because that 4570 packs a punch against larger things or armored legionaries.
Yeah, I definitely had this. I think I ended up toting massive guns quite a bit in New Vegas with all the gun runners stuff. Oh, that was a DLC, wasn't it? The gun runners.
Yeah, there was a weapon arsenal expansion called the gun runners arsenal.
So I definitely had that. I very much wish they would go back to the making your own ammunition thing. I thought that was such a great thing for a post-apocalyptic game to have. Collecting and buying primers and cases and all of that. Powder.
And it allows for some very weird ammunition as well, which is most common in the shotguns, but you get like hollow point AR-15 ammo, you get armor-piercing 308 ammo. Sort of makes guns more useful. Not tying an armor-piercing or anti-personnel trait to a gun, just the ammo that you get it with.
Yeah.
And there's a school of thought that weapons like this are more plentiful in Fallout New Vegas, especially because it's wood and metal, and guns that use polymer or plastic are less common because they've potentially deteriorated or have been harder to replace.
Yeah, interesting thing to think about. I mean, wood dries out badly in this kind of climate. So it would dry, crack, fall off. I'm not saying polymer wouldn't struggle. On a long enough timeline, as we are gradually learning in this collection, almost any polymer is probably going to deteriorate. Thankfully, your typical glass reinforced nylon seems to be quite stable, but we will have to see. In any case, I don't think wood is going to be that much better, unless it's cared for, kept in better conditions, ideally. On the plus side, it's easy to replace. Like if you find wood, you can cut some to shape and replace that dried out, friable wooden component. And if you're going to try and preserve guns into the far future, on balance, probably desert, especially if they're packed in grease or something, is probably the way to go because it's going to inhibit moisture and therefore a lot of corrosion. Oh, weird pseudo P90 thing, except not really. It's got like a P90 mag nod to it. What on earth is this?
It's the 12.7 SMG.
Of course it is.
It's got the rear irons on the magazine, a bit like a Calico.
Yes, it has. Oh dear. Except at the front of the magazine. Like, you may as well literally just have a single point of aim, because the sight radius of those two sights is hilariously short. But better than nothing, I guess, but Having it on the mag isn't exactly ideal, but then does it matter if they're that close? Probably not. What a weird design.
So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the 12.7 by 108 millimeter, like massive
I
machine
don't think
gun.
so.
Because obviously it's an SMG and there's also a pistol and a rifle that fires this cartridge.
Yeah.
But one of the developers said that originally they were going to use 50 AE, but because they've already got 50 BMG in the game, they didn't want to confuse people, and 12.7 millimeter sounds big and beefy when compared to, the 9mm other SMGs.
Okay.
So it's like a handgun version of 12.7.
So it is effectively 50 AE.
Yeah, in all but name.
Yeah. Which is fine, except that we have the perennial problem of a bolt that sits at the back of the weapon, giving you precious little space to actually run the bolt out, in and out, as it were. Like, in order to come back and feed the cartridge from the back of that magazine, the bolt would be flying out the back of the gun, and there's no room for a spring guide, buffer, any of that. Having said all of that, I almost wish they'd kept more real-world weapons out of the Fallout universe, because this stuff seems to me like, if you the kind of homemade-looking stuff works well. The futuristic, wacky stuff works well, because it's a futuristic, wacky world. So I'd rather have this than... I'm going to harp on the Marksman Carbine again. I'd rather have this in the game than that. The shape of the mag's weird, though. It's like they've looked at the P90 and gone, well, there's a circular bit on the end, therefore we're going to put a circular bit on the end of our mag. But it's wider than the magazine is wide for that sort of turntable follower that the P90 mag has. So I don't quite know. Well, I do know. It's purely for aesthetics. Oh, heck. I don't know that I ever got my hands on this thing.
The grenade machine gun.
Yeah. That's the thing, by the way. They do call automatic grenade launchers grenade machine guns, notably H&K's GMG. Although they are very slow in terms of rate of fire as a rule. Well, that's fun, isn't it? With the reciprocating barrel and the huge, great flip open half drum mag thing. And the Fallout style green CRT, not a sight, but some kind of readout thing on the top.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be working effectively because it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
There's nothing actually helpful on there. But it's implied that your backpack is just full of like rings of 25mm grenades.
Yeah. So it's 25mm. So they're probably thinking of the then recent OICW and XM25. Is it too early for the XM25, I think? But yeah, 25mm as a grenade round keeps coming back. The precision grenadier system candidates at the moment range from 25mm to 40mm. Now, we do see with handheld grenade launchers that somewhat often, users will end up just ignoring their sighting systems and observing where their rounds are falling, which is very easy to do with an explosive round, and just getting used to the arc of the round, as it were. So the idea that you would just ignore the sight is, mind you, that I don't think that's not meant to be a sight, is it? It's giving you some kind of information as the gun fires. There are lines of information scrolling up every time you fire it, but they're not saying anything.
I'm sure when the bombs dropped, it was some sort of sighting mechanism or some sort of helpful readout.
The way he hits it.
This version's called Mercy. It's a unique variant that fires 40mm grenades, and you might be able to notice the barrel is bigger to accommodate them.
Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. That's good. And we have a break on there as well. I've just paused to look at the screen, and it's a load of... It's like code with errors in it. Number are not supplied. So I guess it's meant to be a round counter, I think.
Yeah, it's a round counter, or maybe, before the bombs dropped, there was some helpful sort of satellite aiming gubbins going on, or linked to... Maybe it's supposed to be linked to a suit of power armor because the thing's got such heft to it. Obviously, not working these days.
What's written on the side?
Yeah, I don't know why it says "Hey guy, bye bye."
Oh yeah. Or hi guy.
I mean, sort of apt for a 40mm automatic grenade launcher, I suppose.
Yeah, it's an idiosyncratic way of spelling hi. Does it matter which bit you aim at with a grenade launcher?
Yeah, it's very much a to whom it may concern weapon, especially as my explosive skill wasn't super high.
Well, what can I say about this thing? It's a ray gun, really, isn't it? I mean, plasma pistol, I guess. Strange that it seems to have a great big foregrip handguardy thing. Somehow feels more appropriate fired from the hip in traditional Saturday morning science fiction fashion.
What's quite funny is the second version with the scope and everything has an extended magazine, which is just two of the microcell batteries like glued together.
Oh, I mean, why not, I suppose?
If you look at it in third person, so you can see the pistol grip, is that the AK-12 pistol grip?
It's similar, but unless this is a very late DLC or a mod, there's no possible way it could be the AK-12. That, if I remember rightly, is based on an ergonomic grip for the AK that existed already.
Right.
I can't remember which one that would be. It's also quite similar to at least one Nerf gun, I'm pretty sure, so that's a more likely explanation. Something very weird about iron sights on energy weapons, but hey. The magazine-looking thing on the bottom is what's throwing me off, though. I don't think the design needs that, and it just makes it look more like a conventional firearm, which it otherwise really doesn't. So I think that's probably a design language sort of thing from that gun and the original Blade Runner blaster that it's based on, and whichever other Fallout pistol it is that has that sticky out kind of magazine-looking thing on the bottom of it. I don't know. Might be coincidence.
I think the source of this seems to be the it's not a 1-to-1, but it's very similar to the Glock 86 plasma pistol design from the original Fallout.
Oh, okay. Glock 86.
A European design, the Glock 86 was designed before the Great War by an artificial intelligence named after Gaston Glock.
Well, now that old Gaston has passed on, who's to say he hasn't Mr. House style been turned into some sort of AI?
So we'll throw a sprite up, but obviously because it's the original Fallout, it doesn't look great. But I think they're just trying to continue that style of design into New Vegas, because even the scope is similar.
Yeah.
And it's just very funny to me that they wouldn't do that in Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, but for the Wild West of the first two games, they're calling something a Glock 86.
Yeah. 86 seems like a bit of a low number. You know, I feel like we're going to reach Glock 86 next Tuesday at this rate. Right, well, I guess we can sort of at least nod to this one with this fun bit of kit. So this is the Mossberg 590M M4 magazine, because it has a box magazine, rather than using the tube as a magazine, as it normally would, with a Magpul M-lock fore-end on it, Picatinny rail, AR compatible pistol grips, and notably a safety. Now the magazine and the safety were required by a particular customer. It's not otherwise that similar to the Fallout gun, but pump action shotguns with conventional box magazines are not, or drums, are not particularly common. I certainly wouldn't recommend. I mean, something like this is a breaching shotgun, has a breaching muzzle on it. And the idea is, in theory, if you need that capacity, well, you've made a very short magazine tube by making the weapon so short. So relocate the magazine to the bottom of the weapon. Because otherwise, a conventional feed on a pump action doesn't really make a great deal of sense. But the normal version of this is going to be available in the US, I gather, at least.
Because the in-game Riot Shotgun is semi-auto, I saw that there are also similarities to the Hawk semi-auto. Obviously, it's got a similar grip, but the one in-game is semi-automatic. Honestly, it was sort of fun excuse to show off one of your weapons that we've not seen on the channel before.
Yeah. Well, as usual, once people have forgotten about this, we'll be doing a video on it at some point. Hopefully shooting it, actually. I guess, yeah, I mean, the same sort of applies to a semi-auto, which would have a tube magazine typically. But yeah, needless to say, there are far more semi-auto shotguns with conventional magazine feed on the bottom than there are pump guns. But there are niche applications for those.
And we mentioned the ammunition system earlier. There's tons of shotgun ammo in Fallout New Vegas. Here I'm using beanbag rounds, which actually knock enemies out and send them to the ground. So you can see they're all alive. Switch to Dragon's Breath to deal with these two. But there's so many different shotgun rounds that you can all craft or find or buy. And it's just adds more utility to the shotgun, because the Riot Shotgun in both Fallout 3 and New Vegas is so good.
Oh, that one was still alive, was it?
Well, all the beanbag rounds do is they add fatigue to the character, so once that wears off, they can get back up again.
That makes sense. Yeah, I should have realised that's what was happening.
And I'm shooting the kings with coin shot, which also allows you to pick up the coins afterwards from their bodies to make more coin shot shells.
Wait a minute, coins? I thought we didn't have currency. Oh no, we've got pre-war currency, haven't we?
Pre-war currency is bills, but because the Legion, one of the factions, it's the Legion Dinar, so they're all metal coins with Kaisar's face on them.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Cut it out, will ya?
It is strange that the AR in this game is basically bang on, except for the charging handle. I think what they should have done is revert to the hook charging handle inside the carry handle, as was originally intended. I'm not a fan of a fixed charging handle on the bolt, even though that might work. Well, not as designed it wouldn't work, because you'd need a slot down the receiver for the travel of the bolt, at least to some extent. It is interesting how the wooden handguard's sort of the same shape as the in-universe one. There was never an AR-15 with wooden furniture. Well, there is now, but originally there was never an AR-15 with wooden furniture, except for there was a commemorative one I think they made specially later on. But the original design was always conceived to use polymer furniture. This is one of those that it looks superficially like an early AR, slab-sided, but the more you look, every little bit of it is different. It's funny that they included the forward assist on there when they've made the bolt handle, the charging handle, completely wrong. The dust cover is there, but is on the top rather than on the bottom. Not sure why. And it's also interesting that the forward assist and case deflector are A2 pattern from much later on as well. I see we've got the markings referencing Long Branch Arsenal in Canada. I didn't know that was on there.
So this version is a variant of the service rifle called the Survival Rifle, and it's actually in 12.7mm, inspired by the 50 Beowulf AR-15. But it was one of the developers, Joshua Sawyer, commented that it's loosely based on the 50 Beowulf AR-15 and was intended to be a checkpoint carbine between America and Canada.
Oh.
So, because America annexed Canada in Fallout,
yes,
which is why there's also French for stop on one side of the carbine,
topical,
and stop in English on the other. So people defending the Canadian-American checkpoint and border might have been issued these. See, I'm imagining to maybe stop vehicles if it's 50 Beowulf and it's a checkpoint carbine, or potentially power armored enemies.
Yeah, maybe.
Or just angry Canadians, you know. They,
Quite rightly.
takes a lot to stop an angry Canadian.
Takes a lot to make them angry in the first place, but yeah, once they're angry. I'm not sure what the other there's a property of US government type marking on the magazine well that I can't quite make out.
Property of US government, checkpoint carbine, 12.7mm caliber.
Oh, interesting.
Which is why it says Long Branch Arsenal, Ontario, USA territory, because they've taken over that bit of Canada.
Oh, I didn't see that bit. I just saw Long Branch Arsenal. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, enough said on that one, I think. Actually, no, not enough said. It is thoroughly depressing that life is attempting to imitate art, and I'll leave it there.
Especially when the art is Fallout.
Absolutely. You do sort of get from the recoil that it's meant to be a bigger caliber. I didn't know this thing existed. And yeah, and there's the dual language as well. I think this thing could do with a break rather than yet another portless flash hider or whatever that's supposed to be on the end. Oh, and no rear sight.
The front sight being bent is also apparently on purpose, meant to imply that this thing's been through the ringer.
Okay.
That's what the dev said.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know if that's, revisionist, but that's what they said.
I can go with that. And I guess the rear sight's just been lost. Since all the other guns in the game have rear sights, I think.
But awful handy against the Deathclaw.
Amazing, yeah. I mean, I remember struggling with Deathclaws to the point where I was using the Fat Man launcher to try and take them out from a distance.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to EXP for more stuff like this, and let us know in the comments section what other games, movies, TV shows, or beyond you would like to see on the show. And remember, we are running a sale over on our Patreon, so check the links in the description to find out more on that too. Speaking of Patreon, I want to give a massive shout out to all of our supporters over on Patreon for supporting EXP and for allowing us to make cool content like this. You're all more wonderful than a cool bottle of Sunset Sarsaparilla after a long day of patrolling the Mojave. Links to support Jonathan and the Royal Armouries will also be in the description below, so make sure you check those out too. Thank you again for watching, thank you again for supporting EXP, and we will see you very soon.